That was insane.
Second North.
Hey, welcome to
Second North.
We started really loud last time, but we started really quiet.
Yeah, it's
this
like
time.
I like the peace.
It's
the
still
calm.
like nighttime quiet
It
hours.
is still quiet hours.
Yeah.
But hey, rule
So-
breakers.
Today is debate night.
It's true.
It is.
I'm voting for Obama. They told me not to say that, but
No, I didn't say anything, and neither did Braden. It was just Cam.
We're not talking about politics. Don't turn off the podcast. Just
Yes.
do be informed about politics. Watch the debate if you would like to.
Gosh, Cam's so political, man. I just kind of hate
it's
it.
so politically
Oh
correct.
my goodness. Ugh.
This is a
like
joke.
Hillary Clinton.
He really hates everything about politics.
I don't hate. Okay, no, hold on.
Okay,
I
we're
don't
not.
hate
No,
politics.
we're
okay.
not. Reset the
Hey,
podcast.
I'm not gonna explain, but I'm saying I don't listen to them. I don't hate politics. I hate 2016 politics. All right, there we go.
All right. So
Okay. We're on schedule today. We're recording on a Monday, which
Oh, look at us.
has never happened before.
never.
I don't think ever.
Once
actually.
maybe.
Maybe once.
When we started.
We've always
we
said we're gonna
planned
record
to,
on
but then we had
Mondays.
other problems.
Yeah, like you decided to just whatever.
Yeah, go get
injured.
hurt.
You
Wow,
should stop.
You're gonna bring
selfish.
that up like every podcast now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
pretty much.
You-
Okay.
yeah.
Whatever.
Welcome to
I
a new
went to
tradition.
VR. Ha 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 ha.
It's pretty funny.
My life sucks. Ha 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 ha.
That's funny.
Hilarious,
That's a good
actually.
joke.
All right. So this podcast, we are keeping our discussion topics strictly deep,
Grab your floaties.
Christian-like.
Grab your. I like that. Grab your
said that
floaties.
last time.
What?
Say it every time. Grab
Oh,
your
said it
floaties.
last
I've
time.
never heard it until right now.
I didn't notice it.
Welcome.
Grab your floaties and hop on in. This is Second North Deep Podcast.
Why the weird voice?
Because it's deep.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
But
cool.
but
right.
no, deep podcast will happen every end of the month, right?
Yeah, and
That's
it's
what
pretty
we're
much the
saying?
same thing, except none of our topics will be like.
None of them will be random. They'll all be like deep Christian faith.
I can't think of a happy
Topics.
topic we've had from any of the weeks.
Or if
before.
there's something like current event
You're not about
that
Halo
we
Week?
would want to talk about, that'd
Yeah.
be on there.
Yeah,
Deep-
so this
I
has happened
can't
like
say that.
every. The last week of every month, we'll post one of these.
And this is especially if there's ever something you guys want to talk about in the deep podcast. Do you have a question like, well, what do you guys believe? Feel free to email us because we'll answer. Thank you for the emails, by the way. We have gotten some
Yeah, we've gotten
emails,
several.
and
Thanks
that's
for
really
that.
cool. So,
Okay.
okay, Braden, you're.
All right, yeah, I'll
starting us
start
off?
out. Just a question that dictates an answer and a very short explanation. What does it mean to be Christian? And I'll say mine first. I'd say I have to choose my words carefully.
What does it mean
And-
to be? Oh, I didn't-
Or define the word Christian.
It's
Oh, okay.
define the word.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's what I meant to say. Define the word Christian. And my definition would be an evangelical disciple of Christ. I guess I don't have an explanation
Okay.
because that's explanatory.
Okay,
That's
I'm
all-
gonna
that's all enough.
define it. I would say it's a religious word that people of the faith of Jesus have defined themselves, but yet I wouldn't say that it always is a title that you have to go by. If you want me to explain that, I will.
Yeah, explain that.
All right, yeah, sure.
You don't have to be a Christian to follow Jesus.
What do you have to
Following Jesus is following Jesus. A Christian is a religious word that people use.
I'd say it's a cultural
If you look at
label.
the statistic or cultural, yeah, you can say that.
Cultural label. That's my answer.
It's
claim
it's if you look at statistics, there's
Context.
more people that say they are Christian that don't actually follow Jesus.
Yeah,
It's become a religious label,
but if you follow Jesus, you also need to be outward with your faith, and people need to know that.
but you don't have to say you're Christian.
Even if
But you have to say, "I follow Jesus."
I follow Jesus.
Okay.
So I can say I follow Jesus doesn't mean I'm saying I'm a Christian.
But if you
Okay.
follow Jesus, then we label you as Christian.
America.
So you're
no,
Christian.
no. America labels me as a Christian.
Actually, every culture.
I mean, every culture, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cultures
the world.
label me.
So the whole world. So this shouldn't be an argument because everyone agrees.
Everyone agrees. That
I mean,
makes
it's,
no
it's
point.
a worldwide thing
It's
that
a-
you're a Christian. If you
Yeah, I
follow
understand. I
Jesus.
understand what you're saying.
I'm saying there's a difference of knowing Jesus and knowing of Jesus.
So what about
Knowing
this?
Jesus
No, yeah, no, yeah, I
is
understand.
following
I
Jesus.
understand
Knowing
what
of
you're saying.
Jesus is a Christian. Well, then don't rebuttal me, butthole.
Well, it was just. It sounded like you were saying, "Well, you can just not. You can just." It almost sounded like you were saying, "Well, you don't have to say you're a Christian. You can just be a Christian and not say it." It's kind of how
Yeah.
that came across.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if someone asked me, or if someone told me, I follow Jesus, and I say, so you're a Christian, and they say, oh no, I'm not a Christian, I just follow Jesus. Like, is that possible? Can you say that?
Technically, yeah. You can say I'm not a Christian because I don't conform to a specific religion, but I follow Jesus.
But I mean,
All right.
I follow the Bible.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
a religious.
No,
not
but
a-
no,
not a
I knew-
religious structure.
I knew what you were saying the whole time. I was just trying to clarify
I'm saying in general. Don't say that I'm not saying I'm a Christian. I would identify as a non-denominational Christian in my faith. But I'm saying to be a Christ follower, that doesn't mean you have to be Christian.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be part of the
Yeah.
organization.
I understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Organization, I like that because
You're welcome.
government identifies it as an organization.
I mean,
The church is an
So
organization.
is the world. Alright, moving forward.
I'm talking about the world. I just said the government.
Yeah, but I mean,
It has nothing
anyway.
to do with the world.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah, alright, it's cool. I mean, it's been discussed. I mean, like I said, my thing is it's a cultural label. I mean, it's not like I said, I claim to be a Christian because I follow Jesus and I'm a part of the culture that is Christianity. I think Christianity, like you like people go, I follow Jesus, but I'm not a Christian because the world has skewed what it means to be a Christian. But I don't think that takes away from what me being
Did
a
they
Christian.
call themselves Christians?
Okay,
in
here's
Jesus' time?
what I bring up.
Did they call themselves Christians in Jesus' time?
No.
Okay, then
no,
what-
no, I'm bringing up why did you decide to define Christianity this way?
Why did I define this? 'Cause
Yeah, why
from,
did you?
From biblical reading and from discipleship, I've come to realize that it doesn't matter whether you define yourself as a Christian label. It defines yourself on your actions every day. It defines your actions in following Jesus. It defines in your relationship with Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter what people
Okay,
say.
well, so why do you define yourself as a Christian?
Why do I define myself as a
Yeah,
Christian?
if you see it's not biblical.
Because as an American standpoint, as in a cultural standpoint, I would say that I closely identify as to that. So if people ask me your religion, I mean, you ask someone your religion, you say I'm a Jesus follower, they're going to be like, okay, well, what religion? Because Jesus follower nowadays means, okay, well, you could be Pentecostal, you could be Baptist, you could be Methodist, you could be all these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would identify myself in that standpoint, but as a non-denominational Christian, saying I don't confine to a specific structure.
I don't think you'd asked that.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just
I
literally.
have been asked that before.
I've said I was a
People
Jesus
have been
follower.
asked that a lot.
If I said I was a Jesus follower and someone was outside, like didn't know Christianity, they wouldn't go, "Oh, what denomination are you then?" They'd be like, "Oh, then maybe there's a Christian," and move on. You know what I mean? If you said I'm a Jesus follower, you would just be thrown under the blanket cover of Christianity. They wouldn't go.
I mean, I would argue that because a lot of people ask you what denomination. I literally actually just the other day we were downtown and Josh Heiser, my good friend, got approached by a guy and he was asking him like what faith you are and he said I'm a Christian. He said, well, what denomination?
Well, he said,
and
"I'm a
Josh
Christian."
said non-denominational.
He said I'm a Christian. So if you say
Yeah,
Christian,
and he
then
still
you
asked
get-
what denomination. You're
Well,
saying a Christ
okay,
follower,
if
that's the
someone-
same thing.
If I
right?
said no, I'm saying yeah. I understand what I'm saying, right? Like if I said I'm a Jesus
I'm
follower to
against
someone on
you.
the street, like if someone's like came up to me on the street and was like, "I'm a Jesus follower," and they were out. I mean, if they're a Christian, they are going to ask you that kind of stuff because that's important detail inside
even
the
if they're
church.
not a Christian, well, this guy was not a Christian that asked him.
Do you know that?
Yes, he had fully admitted to us. Yes.
Okay, I'm just asking. You don't have to like shoot at me, man. Sorry. So I'm here to say that before. Fine.
Oh, I was just gonna say if like I walked up to someone on the street and asked them and they said they're a Jesus follower, I'll ask, "Oh, what kind of denomination?"
I think if ever in
would
my
ask
life
that.
been asked or asked somebody what their denomination is.
I all
No,
the time.
I ask it.
Yeah.
I guess I just why does it matter?
I'm not taking shots at you. I'm taking it's a very
Yeah,
specific.
I mean,
Because it matters
It's
how
not
you can
necessarily
talk.
matters.
with
It matter. It's not
Well, it-
necessarily that it matters. It's a necessary of understanding their perspective and their beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, let's say as a worship guy
Because
myself.
that's a terrible thing to think that if someone says they're sorry, I do interrupt. I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead, Brady.
All right. Anyway,
comment after.
so as a worship guy myself, I ask what denomination people are because I want to know. Like, well, I
Yeah.
talk with people about worship, and a lot of different denominations take worship very differently. Some people think some kinds of worship are sinful, and I want to know their types of views on that to know how I can talk to them about it. You know.
Because that's also just
That's
a terrible way to look at it, saying that, well, if I say I'm a Christian, oh, understand that they're a Christian. There's a lot of denominations of Christian. You can't generalize people just because they say they're Christian.
What's the one thing that all denominations have together?
Jesus follower.
Jesus followers. If someone said to me, "I'm a Jesus follower," I don't care. I don't care
They
how you
understand
do
they're
it.
Christian, and then they would ask what denomination.
Yeah,
they
but that's
believe in.
weird. I think that's still just weird. Like, why would if you say if you
How's
said
that weird, bro?
I don't think it's weird. I think
I think it's a
it's
weird
like
way to go about
it's
it.
like he's saying, and I would say that there's denominations that don't follow the Bible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing, is
that's why
different
important to see their views.
interpretations.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right. August, do yours.
Oh, I would just label Christianity as a word that, almost kind of like Cam, actually, just a word we use to define each other.
Hold on. Wait. Pause this. Like Cam, but yet you were rebuttaling me?
I literally said how many times that I didn't disagree with anything you said. I was just
Oh,
carrying
okay,
on the
okay.
conversation.
I didn't hear that in the comments. Okay.
No, I mean, kind of like Cam, in his opinion, it's a word that we use, and I almost see it as like a cop-out answer. Kind of like, I feel like we, as Americans, we can say, yeah, we're Christians, and as long as we look around at other Christians and do as well as they are, then we're fine. But I would say that if we call ourselves a disciple, we might look more strictly at the apostles or like actual disciples of Jesus, and that would maybe test our faith a little bit more.
And I also want to point out that I'm not against the label of Christian, and I'm not against anything of that aspect. Like I said, I would define myself in this culture and in America and in this world that as a non-denominational Christian. I'm saying that in general, being a Christ follower does not mean that you have to be a Christian. You have to label yourself as a Christian. You can label yourself as a Christ follower and say, I do not conform to a structure. Because in the end, the definition is that we're all broken. We all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. But by His grace, we are saved. And so, yeah. I just don't want people thinking I'm against Christian.
And that's why I was
Yeah.
questioning you. I would clarify that in the thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I like what August said about just being a disciple, not being called Christian. Like, I would
Yeah.
much prefer to identify myself as, oh, I'm a disciple of Christ. That just sounds better.
Yeah.
Sounds really
Yeah.
cool.
Than
actually.
Christian,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty cool.
And like in the Bible, no Christian uses the word Christian. It's always a derogatory term used at Christians from people outside the Christian
Yeah.
group.
Well, you can even look at it today that a lot of people, when they hear Christian, they think hypocrite. Because they think that Christians are judgmental.
Yeah.
When in reality, it shouldn't be Christian hypocrite. It should be Christian broken. Because Christians are people that realize that they are broken. Or Christ followers, Christians, are people that realize that they are broken, but they realize that Jesus saves that from them.
Okay, Cam,
That's the true reality.
Cam, your audio's quieter than anyone else.
Yeah,
So
you need to
get
talk
into
more.
That's the true reality.
it.
This feels
I don't-
weird. Like
I don't like the idea of them thinking immediately broken. I'd rather have
we're all broken.
I mean, we are all broken. That's outside of Christianity and inside of Christianity. I think you should think Christian love. You shouldn't think Christian broken. Because the call of Christians is to share the love of Jesus, not to be broken people with Jesus. Does that make sense?
You have to realize you're broken though before you can understand it. I mean, you can look at sermons that Grant have talked about talking about. You have to realize you're broken. I mean, the some of the problem. I mean, we're getting into deeper stuff than we need. It's a deep podcast, but it's taking up more time than we expected. But if you look at Christianity, and you look at people outside Christianity are people that in some standpoints don't realize that they're broken, that they're missing something, they're missing Christ. Looking at Christians is realizing I'm broken and I need saving from that.
But the Christians have been saved from that. So the brokenness no longer defines them. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like
I didn't say their brokenness defined them.
No,
I just said that
that's
they were
what I'm saying.
broken. They're realizing that they're broken.
But that's not what people should. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just good. It's fine. Okay, at least I'm not gonna say the same thing twice.
All right, yeah.
Okay. Who's next?
Oh, I'm next.
Cam's
yeah.
got a discussion topic.
My discussion topic is kind of coming from personal example, but like as Christians, like when tragedy comes, how, by your perspective and biblical perspective, do you think we should face it?
You get the first answer.
That's
Yeah.
right. I always forget that. Every time I pause waiting for someone to answer, I'm like, oh, wait, I answer first. So, like, in my life, as you guys have heard on the other podcast, I lost my father. Am I close enough? I lost my father when I was 9 years old, and I took tragedy, and I did the complete opposite of what you should have done in faith. I ran from God rather than looking to God. And to bring up biblical perspective, I have a few verses that I wanted to bring to attention. Shoot, I have this other website up. Where'd it go? Okay. Give me like 10 seconds. Okay. Oh, gosh.
2016. Hold on, let me load my Bible.
Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Psalm 91, 1-2. So instead of dwelling in the Lord, instead of saying He's my refuge, He's my fortress, when I faced tragedy in my life, I literally ran from Christ. I literally ran away from everything to do with Him and got upset. When in reality, I believe that now looking back on my life, all right, we lost the camera, but I'm gonna keep talking. That in life we're gonna have tragedy, but that we have to face it and we have to seek God, and that's hard. Like, I mean, I can speak from example. Like, it's hard to look at life and look at a tragedy and be like, God, you got this, and I want to believe in you. I want to run towards you. But and truth is, God doesn't put anything in our path that we can't handle. I mean, it's a race that it talks in Timothy about running the race of life, running the race of faith, and saying at the end, God will look at you and say, "Welcome, good and faithful servant. You've ran the race. You've kept the faith." And I mean, that's truth. Like, we're always going to have trials and tribulations. But during those trials, it's not whether we can run away and come back to God. It's running to God. That when things get tough, to keep running that path towards God. And so that's my answer, is that, like, I've seen it from the other side, and it's just terrible when it breaks you. And so I feel like in faith and in tragedy, we need to step towards God.
Good. All right.
Who's next?
I also have some biblical evidence. Couple verses from Psalm 34. Psalm 34:4. I sought the Lord and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. And then skipping Psalm 34 verse 18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So I don't have a good story of tragedies in my faith, but I use those verses or other verses like that a lot to say that whenever a tragedy happens in your life, whether it's caused by your own sin or not, God is there to make you whole again. He saves those who are brokenhearted, or as the verse says, and he's there to provide comfort when you need it. Like, even when it's not your own fault that these tragedies are happening, sometimes you can't ask for forgiveness from God because it wasn't your fault, but you're still broken anyway. But he saves you from that too. It's not just salvation from your own sins. It's from all the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that the exact opposite is
What
shown.
scripture did you use?
Psalm 34.
I would say that I agree with what you're saying.
Kinda funny. My next one was 34.
In the exact opposite is what is what we see in the Bible is like Job. We see him
Opposite
as
of me, you're saying?
no, opposite of what he's like. Something
okay.
he said.
Yeah.
We see the opposite of like that fact that we can't ask forgiveness for it. Job got punished because, and like God says that he was like a super good follower, and that's why he got all these things taken away from him.
Yeah.
Like like his family was
Because
killed.
God is
taken away.
justice. Justice.
No.
God is just.
That's not where I was going with that. But
You're saying he got punishment for something he did wrong, right?
no.
No.
He did not. He
I'm
was
saying
righteous.
Job didn't get his family. Why did all these bad things happen to Job?
No reason because of Job, because God was showing in his life. Because he told Satan, was like, you can do anything you want with him, just don't kill him.
Yeah.
And Job still had faith.
But he chose.
Job was an example of faith.
But Job was
No, I
chosen
know.
because he was
And-
righteous.
but-
Because he was
and
good.
and he was talking about how often we feel like we have to ask for forgiveness for these things. I'm saying, in that time, Job was a devout follower of Jesus and God, or God at that way, Old Testament.
Old
So no
Testament.
Jesus, but a devout follower of God. But okay, not no Jesus.
Okay, don't do that again.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Yeah, Job was a devout follower of God, and that's why he was faced with these troubles. So God could test his faith.
Yeah.
He wasn't put to the test because of something he did wrong. He was put to the test so God could see his faith, and that he was not going to leave his faith because of these struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all understand. I just said yes.
It seems like
Yeah.
you're.
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
I just said yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Move on.
All right. My answer.
It does hit you.
Wow, the pause.
My answer. First off, shout out to Psalms because I feel like all three answers are gonna reference Psalms.
Ugh.
I love Psalms so much.
Psalms is great.
It's my-
Hawkins
actually-
hates Psalms.
He doesn't hate Psalms.
I don't hate Psalms,
You can't hate
but it is my
Psalms.
least favorite Bible verse. I mean, Bible
verse.
It's my
Book.
favorite
Book.
book of the Bible.
Book of the
So fun. And
King David's a whiner.
yeah, but we're all whiners. Anyway, moving forward. And so my life verse and my answer to this question
Please
comes from.
email him about that. I would love to hear some
You love
emails
Psalms, please.
about how King David is a whiner.
I mean, you
I
can't
mean,
disagree
It's
with
right.
me.
It's actually right, but it's
Yeah.
he whines to
I
God,
can disagree 100%.
which is a good thing.
You can't disagree. You can disagree that David whines.
David does whine. David is not a whiner. David
Being
is
someone
showing his pain to
Being
us.
someone who whines makes you a whiner.
No,
You're arguing.
Do you whine?
You're arguing.
You whine sometimes, right?
We're
In
all
your life?
whiners.
We're-
I didn't. You're arguing.
Forget it. Forget
you
it.
are.
Forget it.
You are
Forget
currently
it.
arguing over the
Forget it, bro.
definition of being a whiner. That's a dumb thing to argue.
I'm debating whether.
That's a dumb thing to debate.
No. I'm
Oh.
debating whether David whines all the time.
Okay,
He
just
whines
show
for a reason. He's showing us our pain in life.
But he whines the most out of anyone in the Bible.
Or no, because
Yes.
he wrote the most. I'm sure there's other scripts. Look at all the scriptures that all the people that are in the Bible, look at how much they whine in some of those scriptures, and then come back to me and tell me. Then answer my
King
question.
David literally just sits there in all Psalms and whines about his life.
Rejoices too. Look through Psalms again, buddy.
I've looked
There's a
through it and
lot
I
of
see the-
rejoicing because of God.
Whatever. This is not what we're talking about.
So anyway, my answer comes from Psalms 23, which is my life verse. It's the one that's talking about the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He lies me down in green pastures.
Or shall not what?
What?
One.
I shall
Oh.
not want.
Woo. You kept saying wine, so I thought you literally just said shall not whine, and I was
Oh,
like,
get burned.
I was like, what? That says that? Get right there.
Message version. Look at those fights. It says he restores my soul, leads me things. It talks about how he walks through the valley of the shadow of death, whatever. But in that verse 4, it also says, "Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." It talks about how verse 6 is what I'm talking about, the main point of it. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Like, that verse comes, like, the whole verse is talking about, like, I shouldn't fear anything, I shouldn't have to worry about anything. But if something happens, like, I don't have to deal with it, or I have to deal with it, but, like, I don't have to, like, take it on myself because you are with me, you comfort me, and, like, your goodness and, like, the overflow of how amazing you are will always be with me. And I feel like that's something, like, we kind of forget. It's not like sometimes we feel like when we lose something or like a tragedy happens in our life that it's like it was God taking his hand off of us or it was something like that. But really, like, no matter what, God is always with us. Like, he doesn't take a coffee break and come back. Like, no matter what, he is still overflowingly amazing and just, I mean, good. That's just what he is. And so that's how I kind of always dealt with it. It's just like the idea of, like, no matter what, God is good. God is excessively good, and that will never leave. And so it's like, I'm small, and, like, God's goodness is so much greater that I can't, like, take this one moment and be like, well, God's not good anymore, or God's not being good for me anymore. That's my answer.
I like how you ended that. That was good.
Thanks.
I'm the only one who didn't bring a Bible verse to this because I just didn't. I was setting up cameras when you guys were doing that. But
We
Maybe you
cheated.
should look up something in Psalms.
Oh, shoot, Psalms reference.
I
Psalms 119. I bet you had something nice in there.
just so you understand, like, I'm not bashing Psalms. I was just like, it was just like,
You just bashed Psalms.
no, I didn't.
He bashed King David. There's a difference.
Literally, all I said was it's my least favorite Bible verse, or Bible book of the Bible. If someone's like, "Hey, what book of the Bible do you want to read?" I'm never gonna say Psalms.
Okay, can I politely ask a question?
Yes.
What is your definition of a bash? Real fast, real fast. This
A
is
bash?
A bash.
To be like, "Hey, everyone, listen. Psalms sucks. Don't read it."
You literally said it's the worst book of the Bible.
Yes.
That's a bash. If I'm sitting in this room and saying, August, you're the worst person in this room, is that not a bash towards
Okay,
you?
but I still think people should read it, and it's still important.
Okay, I understand. But you still bashed it.
Okay, I bashed it. Whatever.
Okay.
Yes, Psalms is the
Dude,
worst.
Get up.
Psalms is definitely the worst.
This is a deep podcast. We're talking about Christian stuff. It's not like we're going off on a topic about Obama.
Love him. Just kidding. I don't. I don't love him.
We're
I'm
not.
kidding.
It's not politics. Remember?
I don't like Obama at all. I just want to make Cam laugh.
Politics. I hit my tooth on the cup.
Cam, stop being such a whiner.
That's what Obama does to people.
See, we tried to make
Thanks, Obama.
we tried to make a
Thanks,
deep
Obama.
podcast so we wouldn't just be so stupid all the time. But this is just how we naturally are.
We're not being stupid.
This
We're
is
we're debating. We're
Except
talking
when I
about
said I
Christian
love Obama.
politics.
That was only
Yeah,
stupid.
that was
That
stupid.
was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
And your comment in the beginning was stupid.
You're stupid.
I am. Yeah, that's true.
No, he's
Okay,
broken. He's broken.
ask your question or answer your question, or I don't even know where we are.
I don't even know
anymore.
where. Oh,
You start.
Yeah, you're not. Your non-answer. Your non-verse answer.
Your
Oh,
non-verse answer.
I would just say that as we look through the Bible, we can see that tragedy is the number one time that our faith is built up. Like, tragedy is the
Hashtag D-leg. Or not D-leg. Shoot. Weatherly. Excuse me. He's talking about how weakness, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Professor Weatherly, a great
Professor
professor
Dr.
here.
Weatherly.
Doctor Weather.
Doctor.
Professor.
Professor
whatever.
works.
You can
Professor,
say
doctor.
Professor, Doctor, Mister.
He earned it.
Weatherly.
I give it to him.
You can say professor though. That's not
Professor is
disrespectful.
correct. Yeah. Safe way.
But you keep getting me off topic. Literally, I've tried to say this 3 times, but we keep pulling it off. I would just say that as you look at the Bible, that is the number one time that God builds our faith, and often in my life, if there's ever a time when I'm not under some sort of like difficulties as far as life in general, I often wonder, like, is it because I'm not following God? Is it because like I
Yeah, you brought this up the
yeah.
other day. That's funny.
yeah, and it's not like, it's not this point of like, I'm always wondering, like, if I'm not under some sort of oppression at that point, am I not listening to God at that point, or am I not obeying His word at that point? I always have that struggle in my mind, because I see that in the Bible, when you're a follower of God, you will have struggles. Like, you will That's when you'll be tempted. It's when you'll have pain, like all these things, so God can build your faith. So when I don't, it's always like a little like iffy for me. Like I always question it.
Yeah, Paul talks about like you will suffer for the cross. Like,
Exactly.
You will suffer for the faith.
No one probably heard you though. 'Cause
He
you're
said.
so
He
quiet.
said.
You
Paul
will
said-
suffer for the cross. You will suffer for the faith. That's what Paul saith. Blake.
Blake. That's all right.
Blake, come in.
Go ahead. No, just go.
He was supposed to be our guest star, but he just didn't make it.
And how much minutes are we at?
Okay.
You know.
What minute? 26 minutes.
Sweet.
Okay, and bring up the last topic.
Well, no, we should
No.
cut.
What?
Yeah, half.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yo,
Okay,
we're gonna give you a
cut
break.
it.
Oh, don't worry.
And
bye.
wait.
A 9-year-old boy holding the cold, dead hand of my father. I remember watching as they put him in the dirt, never to see him again. Day after day, I lose memories, I lose sight of who he was. Scared of forgetting his voice, scared of forgetting what he did for me. I looked to the world to fill a gap that I didn't understand, fill a gap that I didn't know how I was supposed to fill. I reached out, not knowing what would grab me, not knowing what to even grab. And then I felt it. I felt the hand of the Father God Almighty. He grabbed me and said, "Son, you are not fatherless, for I am with you." I thought that I was alone, but in reality, I had the best Father on my side. He said, "Cameron, I love you, live with me, follow me." And today I'm here to tell you, He's reaching to you too. He's saying, "Grab my hand and come with me. I love you, live with me, step with me, and it will be something that you will never forget. I will guide you through this life." So today, reach out.
So coming out of that video, just something that we decided to make and we felt would be cool for you guys. Let us know what you think of it. We'll maybe do more. Sorry, I'm quiet because I'd like to turn away from the mic. I don't like to speak. Joke. But now I think we're going to August
Yes, it wasn't.
with the people group of the week. Correct?
Yeah.
Oh.
So our people group of the week is the
Let's say this right.
Okay, we have no credit to pronounce this, and there wasn't a website that told us how to
Yeah,
pronounce
we couldn't
it.
find
so
a
we're just
website
gonna
that-
go with the Loloupo. Okay, but
Yep.
but it's spelled Luoluopo. And they're in Western China. And they're
Not
all
Eastern. Western. Never eat soggy waffles.
You just pointed. You said not Western. Never mind. You pointed the wrong way.
and they're a population of 245,000, so they're fairly small in terms of the other
Did it
people groups you
ironically.
pointed at.
Mm-hmm.
But they're at 0.2% Christian and 0.05% evangelical.
You said they have no Bible translation.
But they have
though?
no Bible translation, so.
Which isn't. I mean,
Which
you've
even-
been there. Isn't that predominant in China? Isn't there a lot of places that don't have Bible translations, or do you know? I feel like I've read something about that once.
There-
Maybe not.
yeah.
there
true.
may be, but like,
I was just asking.
yeah, I really don't know. I was
Maybe
in
we can ask
Taiwan.
Jameson. Maybe Jameson would know something.
But I mean, well, I know there's a lot of places in the world that don't have Bible translation, so I assume a lot of them would be in China because that's
Yeah,
where
I
all the
just-
people live.
yeah, okay, that was why. Because I feel like it's predominant in like a lot of like the
But
western
yeah,
parts of China.
this is because they speak Loloupo Southern, which obviously we see here like their people group isn't that large, so it's. But they do have. I read on Josh Project they have some sort of teaching in like an audio. Somebody learned the language audibly and was able to do some teaching that way.
Wow.
So there was some
That's cool.
teaching in their language that way, but they don't have a physical Bible. So either anyone that's evangelical Christian is because of that audio translation, or because they know another language that has a Bible translation. As probably more than likely Mandarin.
That's cool. So yeah, so we just asked you guys to be praying for the Loloupo
For sure.
in China.
Try your best in your prayers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You-
For-
yeah.
How do you
God will
feel-
know what you mean.
you know.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up the next topic we're gonna talk about. And that's gonna be
This will be our final topic.
our final topic. And I'm not sure how to word it, but I think this works as so. How do we allow Satan? How do Christians allow Satan to work in their lives on a regular basis? And I'm not talking about like in ways that are frowned upon. I mean like ways that are not always like you're not gonna go to church and hear someone yell at you for this. Like ways that are not pointed out. And mine is just that often as Christians we don't read our Bible every day, and we often give ourselves an excuse for it. either are busy or whatever. And I know this is often preached about, but I really think that this is like the number one way that Satan works in our lives. I mean, when we open our Bible, like if I go a month reading the Bible every day, that month I feel so much closer to God and so much. I mean, I feel I've learned so much that month. I've done all these things because I've been in my Bible and been in devotion with God every day that week. But there's often times that I'm just not, and I have no excuse for it. Like this week. I said this week, at the beginning of the week, like, okay, I haven't read my Bible as much. I need to read my Bible every single day. And I haven't done that at all. And I have no excuse for that at this point. And I'm frustrated with myself because of that. But I really think that's the number one way that Satan works in our life, is just by, he stops us from getting closer to God. And we do that by reading our Bible and being in devotion. I feel like that's the number one way that we allow Satan to work in our lives.
Yeah, I actually pulled up a scripture because it just popped on me, and it was a scripture we used at camp a bunch, or what Grant preached on it. And it says in Ephesians 6:17, it says, "And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the God, praying at all times in the Spirit with all the prayer and supplication." So talking about like the word of God, that's the Bible, saying that that's like the sword of the Spirit against Satan.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Because like, and it's really like, this might seem minor, but I really think, as for example, like just knowing Bible verses is so helpful.
Yeah.
As far as like, for example, one of my favorite Bible verses I've memorized is 1 Corinthians 10:13, which is just, no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to man. And when there is a temptation, he'll provide a way out. That was like not perfect, but that's just that's roughly what it says. And that's always like, whenever I feel tempted by anything in my life, I feel like every now and then that verse, I can hold on to that verse and stay away from that temptation because I know that verse and I know there's a way out. And I feel like there's so many verses like that if we know these verses by heart, that'll just help us in so many aspects of life in fighting temptation and sin.
Well, yeah, and it's like, I had a dumb example, but like if you were to read like a book on birds, like all the species and genealogies of birds, like you could like kind of feel like a bird expert. Like you feel like you understand birds better. This is a dumb example. Don't judge me for it. But like, but then
I'm
when
interested to see where you're
but then
going
when
with
you're
this.
like, if you're like walking, if you were taking a walk and you saw a bird, you could be able to go like, oh, that's a quail of the southeastern whatever, and like you understand, like you can use your
I
knowledge.
loosely understand where you're
yeah,
going.
so you can like in the wild. Use that knowledge of reading a book that was about birds.
You study so you can go out and
yeah,
have
and
knowledge
so like,
of what you.
and you know, if you go like, you know, we're talking about like, there's people that say that they know, they know of Jesus, but there's people that know Jesus, and one way you know Jesus is by reading about him and reading what he says and about him, and so it's like, you can't say you know birds unless you read a book about birds and actually can like see and like use your bird knowledge in life. Does that make sense?
That was a good analogy. You
Thank
should have given yourself
yeah,
some credit.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna take my credit. It was a good analogy.
I mean, you started it off weird.
It was rough. It was
We
rough.
all were
It
like,
was super
"Where's he going with this?" But you ended it.
Like if you're a bird expert, like I was like, what?
Yeah, you said bird expert, and I was like,
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Birds,
Yeah.
quail.
So cool.
Okay.
So who's up next?
Okay. I'll repeat the question one more time.
It's good, except for that.
How do Christians allow Satan to work in their lives?
Christians allow Satan to work in their lives. My answer is, it's kind of like August, but it's in a broader perspective, is laziness. Our laziness, or Satan works in our laziness so that we may sin. Ephesians 5:15-16 says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil." And that's very true, the days are evil, because if you don't make use of every opportunity in life, meaning that you don't be lazy, you go out and, just do things in your time instead of being lazy and doing nothing, then Satan will work in your laziness. When you're not working on something, he'll find a way to make you sin or to tempt you to sin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's
And relating to that, going into August, that's how he works in us with not reading the Bible. Like if we're lazy, shut up. If we're lazy, then we don't go to read the Bible, and we need to make use of our open opportunity.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Good. No, I was listening, and I liked your answer.
yeah,
Do you want to go next?
right.
Or you want me to go next?
You can go next.
Okay, I'll go next.
I just want to say, in point with him saying about laziness, I want to kind of point a finger at all of us real quick, and just say that in our laziness, we also, with counteraction laziness, we should be, and pointing at myself mainly, we should be doing everything as if working for the Lord. And I feel like I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm definitely not working, like, if God told me to go read this section of my history book, I'd be a whole lot more serious about it than if Professor Mead did.
It's in Titus 4, dude. Just read Titus 4.
Yeah. There is no Titus 4.
This is so believable. There is no Titus 4. I just want to claim I know that.
No, yeah, I would agree with that. And a fun thing that came to my mind, and I just thought I'd throw it out there. So when you point a finger at someone else, there is 3 pointing back at you.
Unless you have a weird thumb, and then it's 4.
Well, then you could say that
Okay.
it's pointing down. Whatever. Why?
He's like, you can kind of put. I
Okay,
can want my thumb back at me.
Okay, I'm going to answer now. I would say one of the things, and bear with me on this because it's going to sound funky at first. They already know that it'll
Call
sound
me
funky.
Grizzly.
I would say one of the things is community. And do not understand that. Don't think that I'm saying community is bad. But at points, we as Christ followers can look at other people and be like, well, they're doing it, so then it's got to be okay for me to do it, right? And we get this point of like, my brother does it, I can do it. And I feel like we get lost in that sometimes. And I'll be completely honest that I get lost in it sometimes. Where I'm like, well, wait, like, if he's doing it and he has somewhat of a way to justify it, then that justifies myself, right? When in reality, just because a brother or a sister in Christ does something, it doesn't mean that it's still right. And it doesn't mean that it justifies you doing it. And so I would say that's something that's very easy that Satan can work in us. And just in general, Satan can just work on our mind. Like,
Yeah,
our mind can be our greatest weapon and be our greatest enemy at the same time.
And I would say what you're saying there reflects on what you said the definition of Christian was.
You would reflect? Wait, what?
How you say that often as Christians we look at our community and say, well, since they can do it, I should do it. And that reflects on what your definition of Christian was, is saying, like, we often just label ourselves as Christian, and, like, that's what you were saying, right? That reflects perfectly on it.
I'm confused on whether you're supporting me or disagreeing with me.
I'm supporting you.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, wow, August is supporting me. Okay. No, yeah. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yes.
Friendship.
Yeah. I love how Braden laughed at that.
We have it sometimes. Friendship.
Friendship.
Always friendship.
Friendship is a confusing haiku. My answer is pretty basic and
Can
generic.
I point something out real fast?
Every time I said I have answered, I said my answer.
No, every time that you start an answer, and I turn and you're looking right at me, and I don't know why.
Because
Like,
I don't want to look at
we
the
can
camera.
look at this in the podcast.
I don't like
but
looking at
you-
the camera.
But
I
you
can do it randomly.
you can look somewhere else. Why do you always gotta look at me?
Because I look at Braden when you're not talking.
Look at the chair orientation.
Yeah, like you're literally right
yeah,
next to me.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
understand
Yeah, I know
that.
you turn
but
away from
still.
us because you know you hate all of us. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you
joking.
always look straight at the camera.
Yeah, you like
not
direct to
any-
the camera.
It's
Shout out
I
to
look
First
at
Video.
people.
They're not. I mean, let's be real here.
That's a camera.
That's the camera.
That's brilliant.
People are
There's a
behind
little
the
picture
screen
of
in
us
this.
next to the
Let's
camera.
just
actually.
stop, okay?
Gosh, Cameron, the worst. My answer is prayer, because I feel like prayer is one of those things that like I mean, either we just don't do it, or because we're just busy or whatever, just I'll get to praying later, and I'll pray when I go to bed that night, and it just doesn't happen. Or if we do it, it's kind of like a half done thing, like we're just kind of going and like we'll just pray to like casually do it, or like I'll do what's it called? It's like a whisper prayer or something like that. No, there's some weird label for one of the prayers, like a sentence prayer. And we're like, oh, we prayed today. That was it. We're good.
Talking about like just talking, like, yo, what up, God? Like, help me with this. Bye.
No, yeah, pretty much. Like it's like it's like casual. Like, don't get me wrong. If you're praying like that, I'm not like saying like you're doing it wrong, but like I feel like prayer, like minimum prayer is something that we kind of justify. Like you
Okay,
can't maintain a relationship if you only talk with somebody like in the most minimum every day. You know what I mean?
I'm not rebuttaling, but I'm not understanding what you're saying.
I feel like Satan uses
I don't get how you're saying that Satan uses prayer.
or lack of,
I don't
or like
understand either.
our casualness with
You're
prayer.
saying lack of prayer?
Like, I'm not even saying lack of prayer. I'm saying our
Well, I would say that even a casual prayer is a prayer and it's still talking to God. Yes? No?
yeah. I mean, yes and no.
Our
Yeah, I would love to
laziness
hear
with
you.
prayer.
I would love to hear your
How about
no.
that?
Yeah, I would say like in a way laziness prayer. Like don't get me wrong. I mean like
Wait, is it laziness in prayer or casualness in prayer?
both. Okay,
Let me-
no, casualness in prayer is fine.
Okay.
More laziness. I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
No, I think you're right. It's laziness in prayer.
It's laziness in prayer. We talked about this a little bit before, how it's good to just
Yeah.
make a really long prayer and like just leave open time for God to speak in your life. And
Very much
Satan
so.
works in that, like how we pray, we just say a little bit, say what we think we need to say, and then end and then go on with our lives. Like,
yeah.
And that points out what I'm saying, that we often
That's what I'm
don't be in
catching this.
devotion with God.
Yeah.
Reading
Yeah.
our Bibles every day and actively seeking out a conversation with God. I feel like that's what he's pointing at, even though he's
Yeah,
not wording it very.
yeah, I'm wording
Yeah.
it terribly. But like with Daniel and the Lions Den, like the reason he got I so butchered that. Daniel and the Lions
Yes,
Den.
gotcha.
Like the reason he was sent there is because he would not stop praying. Like he took like no matter what, like praying to him was held up with with so much respect and so much like esteem. Or even like it was Jonah when he was walking like he didn't stop praying. Like no matter like his entire way he was walking. It was like
Wait, Jonah.
was it Jonah?
Jonah and the whale?
Yeah, when he was walking. I know I had this right. I just can't think of the exact verse. At what point he
When
does
was
it.
Jonah walking? Well, I mean, obviously he walked through his life, but I
There's a-
don't remember reading the Bible
can't-
about
I don't
Jonah
know how to pull
walking.
the verse. But there's a point where Jonah's like walking in ship while he's walking the entire time. He really did not stop praying. I had to pull the verse.
When Jonah was on the ship, he wasn't praying, and that's
No,
why
no,
the
no,
people
no, no, no,
the people
no,
went
no.
to him and was like,
It's
"Why don't you
it's
call on your
post-ship.
God?"
Post ship.
Post
You
ship.
just said on the ship.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I really
Sorry,
did not
I
say
thought
that.
you said you did. I
No,
apologize.
I never. It was post ship. Like there's one point.
So he's in the whale.
No, it's post whale, post water.
Post that story, I think.
It's like I think it's
What's
actually
that
his
story?
name.
He's going to Nineveh. He's going
Yeah.
back to Nineveh.
Oh my gosh, let me pull
Maybe
it up.
post Nineveh.
Let me pull it up.
There's
You know
no. Is there post Nineveh? I don't think there's post
He
Nineveh.
comes
is
out
there?
of Nineveh
Jonah.
and then
Oh my gosh,
looks
that's
on
end of
Nineveh
Jonah. I'm
and
just
like
gonna
God
pull it up
destroy
now.
it, and God's like, no.
4.
you know.
It's in chapter 4. I'm pretty
Yeah,
dang
but-
sure.
Wait, what?
I'm pretty dang sure it's in chapter 4. Give me a second.
This is why we look up our Bible
This
verses
is why we do before.
the
I wasn't
podcast.
planning on referencing it, you know. Gosh darn it.
Most of
No,
us
okay,
looked up
we'll
our
just
Bible verses.
we'll. You're
Just
talking about
continue,
somewhere we're
continue.
walking.
Okay, prayer's
but-
important.
Yeah.
And I feel like the people that did it like in these long sections in these long amounts of time, like they just it was saying that it was common. Like they would never stop praying to God. Like that was saying that we should like it's in the Bible multiple times as an example. But like I feel like we just kind of like casually is it there? No,
I just
darn it.
see him praying in the.
Yeah, thank you.
I know it's in here somewhere.
I'm not rebutting you. I'm just saying
no,
I don't
no.
know that point. But no, I get what you're saying. I wasn't also rebutting you and asking. I was just when you first started that, you were struggling for a second, and I was like,
no,
what?
listen. Prayer.
But no, I get it.
My whole goal is that saying like I feel like we just take Satan works in the way that we just don't
Like,
take prayer seriously
We
enough.
take prayer lightly sometimes.
yeah, like or I mean,
which I would agree with that. But I would have to disagree with the point whether I don't know if you were actually making it or not, or whether you were just struggling through it. I would disagree that casual prayer is a sin, or like Satan uses that.
No, the word casual is not.
Yes,
the word
we need to
laziness
have the
is right.
time where
I would say
it's
only
needs to be
casual
deep.
prayer.
But where if we're only casual praying, like we're just day in and day out saying, "Yo, what up, God?
No,
help me with, help me with
that's what I
this.
said,
All right, bye."
No,
yeah,
I'm not like saying that that's
Because-
wrong, because I'm not.
Yeah,
That's-
just because like we have casual conversations, but we also have deep conversations. That's why we have a relationship.
yeah. Like
Oh,
you,
buddy, we're in a
Yeah.
oh, sweet. I really
That
can't
was
find
cute.
it. I made the line deal. I would have sworn it was Jonah. But yeah.
Now I'm really interested. I'm about to go search through Jonah after this. 'Cause
I know.
I don't remember.
Well, now
him
I'm going
I
through
walking.
it
just
now.
googled it and it didn't pop up, so I think
I know.
I don't think it's.
Okay,
I would have
but
sworn.
Google isn't the-
It's fine.
So
I'm
I
not
know,
even
but
wrong.
like I looked up the word.
It was
prayer
somebody
in
walking in the
Jonah.
Bible,
Okay.
and for like the entire like it was like 40 days from that he was. That's
But
fine.
that's where we're coming from, and this is our first deep podcast, so we didn't really know how it was gonna go.
It might have been a struggle
it was
at some points.
interesting, and there might have been points where you're like, "Wow, these guys are dumb."
We fell down a lot of rabbit trails. We need to work on that.
Yeah. And also I want to bring up to a point that we had kind of discussed that me and August, when we get into those arguments and we get into those debates, it's not us being upset at each other. That's kind of how we show our passion. I mean, he even talked about like he gets into it when he talks, and I get very into it when like I preach and stuff, and he does too. And that's just kind of like our passion, and it's not necessarily their passion. And so we weren't like upset at each other. That's just kind of how we I
Yeah,
don't know, like,
and that will probably happen in
perceive
many
ourselves.
podcasts too. If we talk about things that I'm passionate about.
It won't come at a high level. We'll try to work on it and to lower it. But yes, there will be times where we get into it. Okay, shut up. But we always appreciate you guys watching the podcast. We are amazed at what God has already done with this and people just listening to it and stories that we've heard because of it. We've gotten emails, and I'm quiet and I can see it on there, and so I'm sorry. But if you guys have anything that you need from us, we really, really, like, if you have any prayer requests, like even the littlest of things, send it to us. We've been praying about it. I just prayed the other day for the couple requests that they sent. I know the guys have been praying for it. Pray for the people group. You guys have anything else?
I do want to say. All right, go ahead, Braden.
You go.
Okay.
I didn't have it.
I do want to say.
Try something.
I thought you were opening your mouth.
I did,
Oh.
but I lost it already.
Okay.
So you go ahead.
I do want to say that if you enjoyed our podcast, one, consider sharing it just like on your Facebook or whatever, and two, consider just sending it to someone who you think needs to hear it. I mean, we do this for fun, and we do really want people to listen, to like just listen to what we have to say, and hopefully impact some lives. So if you were willing to just share this with someone you know, that'd be great.
Be awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Pop-Tarts, please sponsor us.
And if you know someone that would like to sponsor us too, not necessarily Pop-Tarts.
Probably not Pop-Tarts. We need to stop him from eating Pop-Tarts. But
Yeah.
Kellogg's is the company.
Eli
Daily
literally,
Connections.
I was worried about him today. He literally has not got out of bed except to do laundry.
I actually, that's not true. I ate 1 pack of Pop-Tarts today.
Did you get out of bed for that?
wait, you literally posted you needed to change your diet, and you ate Pop-Tarts today.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I understand I need to change my diet.
We thank you guys for
Pop-Tarts,
listening.
please
This is
sponsor us.
Second North signing off.
Second North. Second North.
Please put that in at the very end.